What's up, guys? Welcome back to the technical first video of 2024. This year's gonna be a little different, as the teaser video probably had you guessing, maybe, possibly, I don't even know, what your guys' thoughts were. Let me know. But I'm starting up an old segment. But not by name. I used to do random movie reviews, and people seem to like it. I enjoyed doing it. I talked about movies that weren't currently out because they're older, or I missed them and I finally got to see them. And this could be a swing and a miss, but I enjoyed doing it before, so I'm going to start it back up again with this first video, which is the Iron Claw review. Finally got to see this movie. It's great. If there's any theater around you that still has this movie, please go watch it. Support this movie as much as possible. It's not a movie for everyone, and I must state that right off the bat. If you're looking for some kind of uplifting, good, cheerful movie you can go watch with your family and friends, this is not going to be it for you. I'm being completely honest. It's great on a whole different level, and that is emotionally. You get to know a family in this movie, and I do not want to give any spoilers away because, truthfully, if you don't know the story, that's fine. I didn't know the story myself before going into this movie, but I looked into it more and more afterwards. It's an intriguing story, and it's done very well in this film. But I don't want to give any spoilers away as to what happens, but the way they do it is darn near devastating, what happens in this movie, to the point where I think I almost cried. And it's honestly, I think Zac Efron's getting robbed by not even getting nominations for his performance that he gives in this movie. This movie is a very difficult story to portray, and Zac Efron has a very difficult role to fill. But he does it almost amazingly. Why is that? Well, throughout this whole movie, like I said, you get to know a family, and that is the Von Inchen family. Go watch the movie, do your own research. Again, I'm not giving away spoilers. And you get with them on an emotional level to the point where when things start happening in this movie, it is real quick. And the last frame of this movie is one of the saddest scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie. That might be an overstatement. I honestly don't care. I think it's great. And I think, again, go in with knowing what I'm telling you here. Go in knowing it's going to be sad. But I almost went into the movie having different expectations than what I got. It's an A24 movie based on a true story about a wrestling family. I was a little nervous. You know, A24 has this reputation of making strange and, out of the world movies, and I'm not against that. I like A24, and I like a lot of what they've done. Everything Everywhere All at Once was an A24 movie. It won Best Picture. I thought it was an alright movie. People love A24 because it brings something new to the movie genres. A24 is a genre in and of itself usually, but this movie's different. This movie doesn't really feel like an A24 movie, if I'm being completely honest with you. This feels like this is a movie made by a regular studio. And I think that almost, given the story that it's telling, is a positive for it. I think it's great. I went in with somewhat high expectations, given that it's kind of been getting some buzz. I mean, now seeing it, unfortunately hasn't really been getting any award buzz, such as nominations, but, I had medium to high expectations because of what people have been saying. I was expecting to be slightly disappointed only because of what I heard the story was, and it was being A24. But if that's what you're nervous about going into this film, don't be. It's great. Again, if you don't like this movie, I can 100% see why. IGN is a company that I look at reviews from them often. I think that their team kind of has a neutral look at things as far as movie critics go. And when they review a movie, I'm like, well, that's just an audience thing. They reviewed this movie, they gave it a 5 out of 10, I believe, if I'm remembering it correctly. That's not really good as far as their standard. That's a 50%. In my grading system, that would be like a C to a C+. So, if you look at that, then it's getting mixed reviews. But I think what you need to go into this movie that it is not necessarily a typical A24 film. It's an emotional story about a family that you get to feel the absolute devastating nature of throughout this 2 hours and 15-minute film. I'm going to give The Iron Claw an A-. I think it probably would have been on my top 10 of the year, but I'm not going to remake the whole list just to put one movie on there. I think this probably would have knocked out a couple movies, if not higher ones. This movie isn't necessarily a film that you're going to want to watch over and over again. You could look at that as a downside, but I don't. I look at that as almost an upside because you feel so much emotion in this movie that you don't want to see what happens again. Now, I watched a documentary afterwards about the same story. And they missed some major details, it seemed, but I'm not going to hold that against them, given the fact that the real-life guy that part of this movie is based on gave his approval and said that he liked the film and the way it was portrayed. And I can almost understand that the details that they miss weren't mentioned. Almost because they were playing it safe, but that's a good thing given the story. Go watch it. It's a great movie. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And yeah. Listen, guys, this is going to be a fun year. I've almost formed a new schedule, and I'm almost going to start a new segment that I talked about last year. I'm going to take a break from the vlogs for right now. That's just me being honest. They have been too overwhelming to make, and they're just going to be postponed till further notice. Not to disappoint y'all, that's just the state of things at this moment. I got this new shelf. I got a new setup. I think it is aesthetically pleasing for what I usually talk about. This is my Blu-ray collection. This is all of them. I know I have way more DVDs, and I know people usually have way more, DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff than I do. I don't really care. To me, this looks nice. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to do movie reviews more often. I'm actually planning on recording another one right after this. But I wanted this movie to be me breaking the ice on what this old segment was. Anyway, thank you guys all for watching. Go check out this fantastic movie, and peace out, like, and subscribe.